Hey, Scrapbook friends, it's Nicole, and welcome to week 8 of Theme Park Thursday Series 2. And today is a little different because the layout that I started with was so easy and so simple that I didn't feel like it was worthy of a YouTube video. It seriously took me less than 10 minutes because I used this Fast to Fab inspired printed paper. So today you're getting a double. So we're going to do this quick and easy 5-minute layout, and then we are going to move on to much more complicated where I did some paper weaving. This is the one that I'm kind of counting as our Theme Park Thursday layout. The other one is a bit of a bonus. So stay tuned to see how I put together 2 layouts, one fast and easy and one a little bit less easy and less fast, but tells my story, which is my goal with my theme park scrapbooks and all of my scrapbooks. So, giant mozzarella corn dog. I have a whole bunch of pictures. I probably don't need every one of these pictures. Go through that one. I like that one a lot. I like the expression on her face on this one. Like that one. That one's better. Okay, so that's good. So I had like 14 pictures, but I knew I couldn't use them all. I just, some people are really good at choosing their pictures like on their phone before they order, but I find that I need to print them out, and I know that means I end up wasting a lot of photos. I mean, I don't like to think about, this is probably like 50 or 75 cents I'm just not going to use, but let's not think about that. Okay, so now I'm down to 8 pictures, which is a much better number. They're all digital size except the one. Yes, apparently we paid $15 for this giant mozzarella stick. And the name of the place was Blue Ribbon Corn Dogs. And so it made me think of this Fair Life, which was a Fast to Fab inspired paper pack that was a promo. But look, it's got this blue ribbon. So it feels almost like cheating to use some Fast to Fab paper, but it's so perfect. I do have the punch that came with this, and I think there was a mats or artsy add-ons or something, but I don't have a good system for storing stuff like that. And this, of course, I haven't put in a folder yet, so I don't have the pieces that go with it, and I don't know where they are. So I'm not going to worry about that. I think I'm going to just use this shortcut. You guys can pretend that I took paper and then cut a border and stuck it down the side. But I'm actually heading out to a wedding out in Utah, and a couple of stops along the way, and I'm trying to get these ready ahead of time so that I can still have videos while I'm traveling. So I think I'll put the Blue Ribbon Corn Dog right here, and then I'll put Michelle with the displaying that giant corn dog. Oh, you know, I think this was this side direction. I had it that way, but I think it maybe is this way. That is actually a terrible picture of me. What an expression. That one's not as good as of Michelle. They're both terrible. I'll just use that. So this is like a super boring layout, but it kind of does the job. And so part of me wants to just slap this down and call it good. And so maybe if I do that, then I don't count this as this week's layout because it has 0 process. So maybe this week we're getting a twofer, and we'll have 2 layouts because I'm just going to use this Fast to Fab paper, and the YouTube algorithm isn't going to like it if I give you guys a 4-minute video of me talking about the pictures. So let me stick this down and journal, and then I think I'm going to be done. And then we'll go to the rest of our Downtown Disney pictures, of which there also are not very many. And these 2 are the same. And these 3 are kind of the same. That's right. We're going to make those work. But I'm going to stick these down. All right, so here we go. Too many lights on. There's still some glare, but seriously, the timer on my video is 9 minutes, and most of that was organizing the photos and me rattling on. So we're not going to count this as episode 8. This is going to be a twofer. We're going to have 2 layouts, but this is layout number 8, the blue ribbon corn dogs. And I just wrote, it had been a few hours since our lunch at Roscoe's. We decided to share a giant mozzarella stick as a quick snack. Hopefully it wasn't just Nicole and Michelle who ate this giant thing. I don't remember. I think maybe they had eaten more at lunch. I tend to eat smaller meals more often. And so I was ready again when they all ate a giant meal 3 hours ahead, and we're still full. So this is layout 8, but we're going to go on and move to another layout and get you your money's worth for today's video. And I'm going to go to the rest of these Downtown Disney pictures. So I've got the 2 of Alex and the lightsaber, and I like both of them. Like both of these, so I want to do both of those. I have little, I think maybe I'll do these on this side, and then this, oh, you know what? This was Marceline Confections, and I swear that I brought home a paper bag from this shop. We actually bought something there another time, but where would that be? Did I already pull out all my memorabilia for this trip and leave it out? That would be terrible if it's not in its package or in its box where it lives. Let me see if I can find my memorabilia, because I know I have memorabilia. I just remembered that I didn't have as much of it as I thought that I had. So the bad news is I didn't actually find all of my Disneyland memorabilia. I do think I pulled it out. I think it was just a few park maps. So it's probably just in this pile right here that you guys, I don't let you see. But I do have this bag from the Lego store and this bag from Marceline's Confectionery. And this, I think, is going to be what inspires this side of the layout. And so really these maybe should be 2 separate layouts, but I think I'm going to try and just do it as one since I already have these pictures out. And because I don't really love doing single page layouts. Something's in here lumpy. Oh, the crumpled up receipts. So let's see what we bought. An ice cream sandwich, peanut brittle, 2 lollipops. Oh, and this is the Lego store. Okay, I don't want to know how much I spent at the Lego store. In the trash you go. So actually, I think I'm not going to use the trimmer. I'm going to turn my light back on. But this is kind of giving me an idea for how to do the rest of this Downtown Disney layout, because I do really like this black and white check. Somebody was asking me recently about just like photo safety, how I feel about photo safety. Most paper truly is photo safe. Years ago, I had a friend who worked for the Making Memories chain, and her cousin actually had founded it and done a lot of research and said that back in the day, all paper was photo safe. That was the only way they knew to make paper. But then like in the 60s, they came up with the new, improved, faster ways of creating paper. And so if you look at paperback books from like the 1960s and 70s, those things are falling apart. And librarians were like, hey, wait a second, why are these books from, 50 years ago fine and these books from 5 years ago terrible? And so then they realized that that faster, more efficient way of making paper was actually leaving in too much of the acidity and causing the deterioration. So now pretty much all the paper, I used to be able to buy like an acid testing pen way back when I started scrapbooking in the 90s. But now pretty much all paper I think is generally photo safe. But because I'm not 100% sure, I think I want to, I'm going to mat my photos if I can figure out how to put these all on a layout together. And this is basically the same picture twice, so maybe I don't need that. Maybe I just do the two of them. And maybe I cut this off and don't try to keep the bag. I do really like the black and white squares. So there's a couple ways we could do this. I could punch a bunch of squares and we could just make the design, or I could paper weave and make the design, and that might be faster actually. So what if I did like a paper weave of the black and white and did that just kind of as a border, cut this, put these, like I don't want this to be this piece of shopping bag is not the most important thing for my layout. But if I cut this off and then I can move it around. All right, that's what I'm gonna do. Let me get some black paper and some white paper. So here's one that I already cut something else out of. I do have a terrible habit of not reaching in my scrap paper first, starting with my a new piece every time. I'm trying to be better at that. So I'm going to cut. Well, I don't really want to have to do a whole. I don't think I want to do more than a 3-inch border. So that means I'm going to do. Oh, but it's a diamond shape. Oh, this could be tricky. Okay. Because I don't. Oh, well, I guess I just still make a regular woven paper border and then we'll just turn it. So I am going to have to cut maybe make it a little bit bigger than I would have because I want to cut it on the diagonal. So how many pieces can I get out of this piece of black? All right, so there's those. All right, I got 6 pieces of the white, and I think I'm going to use a white base, one of these magical things that I use, and I'm going to use my 13 by 13 mat. And really what I'd like to do is make it already angled. I think that will save on paper if I can do it that way. So let's do this at 6 inches. I'm still gonna have to cut more paper, I'm pretty sure. But if I can do this at 6 inches, that will give me 2 3-inch mats on either side. And I wanna see what, this is not on a 45 degree, well, that's the 45 degree angle. And you know what that is on a 45 degree angle. So that's nice because I think I need a little piece of washi tape to tape this down. I could use repositionable adhesive, but look what the repositionable adhesive does to my mat. Makes it all gross, and I don't think washi tape will do that. So I don't know about you, but I did go through like a whole washi tape phase where I just was buying all the washi tape in all the colors. And I mean, I like it sometimes, but really I don't care that much about washi tape. So here's just some little black, basic black. This would actually maybe be nice if I didn't want to have to cut stripes sometime, but I mostly use it for stuff like this. I don't really use it on my layouts. It doesn't stay that sticky, and I'm not really sure about the long-term photo safety of it. Says the girl who just talked about photo safety with a grocery bag. All right, so I'm just gonna put, I don't know how much washi tape I need to put. This is the 45-degree angle right here. I think maybe I'll just put some like right in the middle, and we'll put this on this 45-degree angle. I'll cover the line. How's that? We'll cover the line. And I think this is the only one that's going to matter because all the rest are going to have to just be against each other. And then this one, and I probably want to do this with regular adhesive, not repositionable, because I don't want it to shift. All right, so there's my first X. It's a little hard to see because I am doing black and white. Then we'll do the next one. There, let's see. I'll do the next one right here. And I'm just going to line it up. I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap because you kind of have to have space for the fold. I'm going to have to cut more paper, I can already tell. All right, so now this one, I'm going to put the black. See how close it will let me get it. I'm just trying to keep this spacing right here even. Oh, I already put adhesive there. I want to make sure that my corner is not down on here. It needs to be all the way off that side. So I'm only sticking where it sticks to the weaving, right? So it's stuck down in the middle, but nowhere else. And then I can just keep going with, working my way out. And all of the white, oh, right down here, this one, I went off the edge a little bit. So I'm gonna have to scoot that guy down. Make sure that I'm not off the, or I'm off the edge of the base paper. Okay. And that's my last piece of white. Oh, I put these on top of here. So I'm going to have to cut some more before I can keep going. All right, I just cut a bunch more of these so I can keep going. And especially right here on the edges, I want to make sure that I put adhesive, because when I trim off the edge, I don't want to actually accidentally trim off the part that has the adhesive on it. So this is, you know, this is all I need to know I learned in kindergarten stuff. Just basic paper weaving. But I don't feel like we do a lot of it anymore. I don't know, maybe kids don't do paper weaving in kindergarten anymore. It's been a while since I had a kid in kindergarten. Again, making sure that the corners are off the edge so I don't have a weird angle like that. I want to cover the whole thing. So you wouldn't really be able to do a much wider piece than 6 or 7 inches because I only have, there's that corner, that would be 7 inches, I guess 8 inches. Well, no, that because that come off the edge. So 7 inches would be the widest border I think I could do with this. But I find that it's easier if I start kind of in the middle and work my way out. I did some paper weaving in my Christmas in July series a couple summers ago, and I spent a lot of time kind of figuring out what worked for me. And for me, the easiest was to start in the middle and work my way out. All right, so I did that one. So now I'll put here and here. And I'm going to have to go back and probably put some more adhesive down later. But as long as all these sections together, I mean, it's not, I guess it's not really sticking to the base. I guess the base doesn't matter so much. But I don't want, whatever color I've used as a background, I don't want that to show through. So let me finish the weaving and then we'll trim the edges and see how it looks. All right, I'm almost at the end, but I'm on kind of off the edge of this, and I have a couple more pieces of black, but I'm out of white, and so I've just been cutting off the little extra just to fit in. I mean, it's like one little spot really that needs it right there. And this piece is actually going to get cut off, so I'm not sure how this is going to work. We'll definitely have to be doing some adhesive on the underside. But just whatever the long one is, I just put a speck of adhesive, and then that's how I know which one. Line that up. And I know I'm off my mat, so I know this is definitely off the piece. Got one little corner right there. I might be all right. I might trim this down a little bit. So I think we're good. This tucks under, but I'm going to trim that off. So I think all of these pieces are good, except now, like I didn't stick it down very much. I'll peel off that washi tape on my base. And actually this, because it's on this thin paper, it actually did rip it, which it doesn't usually do that. And then I'm just going to put a little permanent adhesive, especially right around the edges. And when I say a little, it's actually more than I usually use. Okay. Now we're going to trim it off, but it's too big to fit in the trimmer. Well, I guess it'll fit this way in the trimmer. So this is definitely a job for the sightline guides. So I can kind of see here where that lines up and kind of see here, but we'll pull these little guys down. Very nice. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side, because then the long side will be 12 inches. These two right here feel like it's a little bit of a bigger gap. I hope that won't be a problem once I get it all trimmed. didn't cut all the way through. I cut almost all the way through. I forgot I was cutting through multiple layers, and so I should have pushed down a little bit harder. And actually I didn't quite get that. So we will do this just a hair. And I'm kind of thinking I might want to put this on a, like a little frame. Now I can take this, and I'm doing it from the back because that way I can see where my paper starts and ends. And again, I didn't quite go all the way. It makes a lot of little stringy hairs, and it's still a little bit, I didn't quite get all the way on there because I didn't use my sight lines. It's true. Okay, so now all of this is extra. Clear that out of the way. Okay. Let's see, now I'm gonna just kind of come, like, see right here, I feel like it needed a little bit more, a little black on that piece. I guess I shouldn't have thrown all those little scraps away. Nobody's going to care except me. And actually, I think if I cut these down, if I cut it down a half an inch, then I can put a little 1/8 of an inch frame around it. All right, so let's do that. We'll cut it down a half an inch in this direction, because I can always come back and cut more off later if I decide I need to. And then this is a 6-inch border, so if I cut it at 3, and then I'm gonna have to see where it needs to be like adhered down, you know, in any of these places where it's just kind of floating. Because I did the edges, but then I cut off that top edge. So all of these, a lot of these are kind of loose, and if you wanted to, you could go back and fix that. All right, I don't know that I love the orange and the yellow. It feels very Halloween-ish. Trying to look at this through the light, and I guess we'll just, I don't want to rip my bag, but also I'm not going to leave this little string on. No, the good news is if you bought a caramel apple or something from Marceline Confectionery, your handle's pretty secure. Don't rip off. I want it to rip this paper, not the paper it's stuck to. Ah, that's a little scary. I think I might just cut that off and leave the rest until I decide what I'm doing. Okay. What paper should we use as a base? You know, I could just use my white refill pages, which I almost never do. But there's no sense in me putting it on a white background if I'm just going to use a white paper. So let's do that. I've had a couple of newer scrapbookers lately who've had to make the decision whether they want to use the traditional CM pages with the jeeping or the top loading pockets. The default seems to be the top loading pockets, but I guess I'm old fashioned because I still really prefer the jeeped pages. Okay, so what are my colors here? If I'm going to use this, Maybe I try to find this. This is like a periwinkle blue. Maybe I'll put a periwinkle blue line, little tiny frame around these. My black isn't quite as shimmery and pretty as their black, but we're gonna cut that off so nobody will know. So Creative Memories apparently doesn't have anything like this blue right now. I looked at all the blue options we have or have had in the past couple of years. There's nothing. So then I looked at the shimmer, and this Vista shimmer is really, really close. So, and I have a scrap. So that's what I'm going to use for this, this little frame on here. And I'm going to cut this. This is 3 inches. So I'm going to cut it 3 1/4. Both of them. And then I just have to cut a 1/4 inch off the short end to give it the frame. And now I'm kind of wishing I would have done it with a decal edge, because this, I'm going to cut this with a decal edge, but I think it's too late now. I don't want to have to cut up another paper. Oh, I forgot to cut the 1/4 inch off the bottom. Actually, I think I'll cut them separately. And of course, on the CM trimmer, the 1/4 inch is the far side of the cutting mat. I don't love kind of how it isn't centered, but nobody's gonna care. I've been thinking a lot about this album project and similar projects, and how I do put in pictures like these that really are almost irrelevant to the story. And I think a lot of it depends on where you are in your scrapbooking journey. I meet a lot of people who say to me, oh my goodness, I'm so far behind, I'm never going to get caught up. But then I meet a few people who are caught up and are kind of running out of things to scrapbook. So, which, you know, I suppose is a privileged way to look at it. I'm going to put this so that the outside edge is the pretty edge. You know, in that we've had time to work on scrapbooks while other people are, you know, busy at work. I think I'm going to do this way, because I've talked to you before about that when you look at a double page layout, your eye is drawn here. This is your kind of where your attention goes first. So if this corner is the prettiest corner, then it won't matter that this one down here is not quite spot on. And I maybe could have cut them, you know, more on the cut. I don't know. I would have had to do more math. I didn't want to have to do that. So now I want to take this Marceline's confectionery and cut it, but I was going to use the decal edge, but apparently I don't have the decal blade, or if I do, maybe I do. Hang on, let me see. Maybe it's still in its box. Okay, apparently no. I have 3 12-inch trimmers. 2 of them live at my studio. I have the blue one that I personally use, and then I have a white one that I let people borrow if they forget theirs. And apparently those are the ones that have, my little foot's up. Those are the ones that have the decal trimmer, and this one does not. So I will have to make a note to purchase a decal blade for this trimmer. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up this black edge with the inside edge of the trimmer. There we go. Hopefully that's, maybe I'll pull a little bit farther. I don't want to leave that white, so I'm gonna have to go a little bit kind of in the middle of the words, I suppose. Oh yeah, that gives that edge. And I'm still cutting so that I have a straight edge down here on the bottom, but really what I'm doing is lining up with the design on here, trying to keep it as straight as I can. I didn't cut all the way through. Oh, because that was this part right here. Okay, I cut through the paper, but not this back piece. That should work. Then we'll do this one. And I don't have any more straight edges, so I'll put this. And I'm gonna have to shorten this one a little bit because I changed how I was cutting. So part of me is thinking, well, why did I even bother keeping this bag? I could have just taken a picture, except I'm using this. But I think this worked better than trying to use the whole bag on my layout. That little washi tape I used is grabbing onto things, so I get that all the way in the trash. Okay, so here we have these two. I like that. And then we can put, I like this picture better than that picture. That's going to go right there. And this right here. And maybe now I need some more of this blue, Vista Blue shimmer. Maybe I'll put, I have 2 scraps. Maybe I'll put this whole piece on a piece of the blue and then journal on the blue. I want about that same, about 1/8 of an inch. And usually I can eyeball it. Sometimes I do have to go back and, swap back my blade. Don't want to cut that with the, oh, maybe I do want to cut that with the decal. That would be fun. It's not the decal, it's the Victorian, the colonial. Okay, we'll do that. That'll bring that decal in over here too. So I'm going to give it a little bit more space since I won't have that straight cut edge. And I'm going to go ahead and cut the whole piece, even though I'm not going to use all of it. So that's, well, maybe I will. It'll be 3 inches. Oh, this is a little harder to do it on this edge. Well, that's the straight side, so I want to do that. And this is a 3-inch border. This goes over it about 2 inches. So if I cut 1 3/4 inches off this side, I can always come back and cut more off if I need to. I'm not sure how I feel about it on the plain white page though. It's feeling a little bit stark. And now that's a little bit too tall, but I think I'm going to trim these guys down because I don't care about well, I got the shadow. I do care. Maybe I don't want to overlap then. I think I can cut 1/4 inch off the bottom and 1/4 inch off the top and be okay. So this is now coming in just at, it's not even 5 1/4. It used to be 5.3, which is like, you know, between 1/4 and 1/2, and this is like 5 3/16. So I'm going to cut this down to 4 3/4. So I'll cut it to 5 at the top, and then I'll cut it at 3/4 at the bottom. And I could maybe narrow these down too. But see, now this is like the tops match better actually. I think I'll just cut it to 4 3/4 this way. Cuts a teeny smidge off the shadow, but not so much of it that I will weep. Part of me wants to cut this person with the blue shirt off too, because I feel like it's very distracting. Like my eye is drawn to that blue. So I think I'm going to do that actually. I'm going to cut these. I like that on the side okay, but if I cut it to 3 1/2, then I can cut that person off there. And I can cut most of this mom and the stroller off right here. Sorry, mom and stroller. I get the mom cut off and the kid, except the kid's leg. All right, that's better. Then my eye isn't drawn to those. And then I do think I want to come over the top on here like I did up there. But the white background is not floating my boat. What if I used a yellow background? Yellow and purple are complementary colors. What did I do for my previous Downtown Disney? Did I used the Main Street Electrical, not the Electrical Parade. I used the, but now I don't know how I feel about the white background. I'm kind of thinking I want to go with yellow. And I think this might be goldenrod, which I only have a couple of pieces of goldenrod left. Wonder if there's a pattern paper like Rainbow Rush. Did Rainbow Rush have any bright yellow like this? I'm going to go check on that. All right, let me move these out of the way. I pulled out my pod insert that I have that is color collections, and you can see I didn't actually get this quite put away correctly. But Rainbow Rush was one of our color collections. I mean, that yellow right there is probably exactly what I'm looking for, but yellow is one of my favorite colors, so I can't guarantee that I have any of that left. But, ooh, this kind of ombre yellow. But I love this little checker. That's my problem. I don't want to use it because I love it, and then I don't have it. Oh, the polka dot. This paper. I like that one a lot. I mean, I do have a goal of using up as much of my old paper as I can. I don't have any whole pieces of the paper that I want. And I don't think any of our other kind of just random color collections, I don't know why I saved that paper, or that one. I don't think any of the rest of them had like these rich jewel tone colors. We had, what was the Mix and Match? Mix and Match was one of the first ones actually, and first they came up with like a Mix and Match bold, and then they did like Mix and Match pastels. I wonder if that's also in this bin. I found this one from Fresh Fusion, which I kind of like with the little circles. This is Fresh Fusion. There's also this one that's a stripe. It's green on the back, but I don't know if I have two pieces of it. Okay, I'm going to put these away. I'm holding the pot on my lap, which is not the most comfortable. I did find this one, Totally Tonal Canary, might work, but this one was also in the Fresh Fusion with the different colors. It might be too much, but I think I'm going to try that. Actually, let me move this. It's in my way. Okay, so here we go with the yellow circles. Not hating that. Is that a terrible example. I don't hate it. Maybe that's not what I'm meaning to say. The circles are okay. Let me try it with this pattern. I think this might be too much. But I do kind of have different... No, I don't think I want the stripe. Although, man, I'd be glad to use... And the worst thing about this paper, we didn't even get a second choice. Usually, if I don't like one side of a paper or I can't figure out a way to use it, I can use the back. All right, sorry, I had a little hiccup. I got a phone call that knocked my recording off. So, and then I didn't want to accidentally work on this while I was talking on the phone, so I moved it to the side. So I think I'm not going to go, I don't know about this this yellow dot, but let's pull out the Totally Tonal Canary. I think it's a new package. Nope, it's not. I don't have all the colors. I've pulled some out. I have this little ombre. I think we'll just go with these circles. It's not maybe perfect, and I don't know that I love this right here. Maybe I'll trim that off, or maybe I'll move that over here and just journal right here. But I think that I like the yellow paper, and it'll give me some space to do some journaling. So I'll leave a little, that 1/8 of an inch space right here. And this piece. So this, I'm not matting this. You know, you can, if you put it on Creative Memories paper is buffered, which means that it'll absorb any acidity in the memorabilia that you put on. But this isn't going to be touching any photos. So I'm just going to put it right here. So now it is on Creative Memories paper, so it doesn't need it to be matted. It's not touching these photos, and really, truly, would it be the end of the world if these particular photos of the kids looking at the confectionery had got a little, maybe a little discolored? No. Are these heritage photos? No. All right, I usually like to line up my edge, but for whatever reason, I'm feeling like I want to do this way. I don't know, maybe I'm gonna have to put some kind of embellishment there. And yeah, I don't think I want, I thought I wanted it to be like that, but I don't think I want it. Do I want it like that with the journaling? No, I think I just want to cut this edge off. So I'm gonna have to put that blade back on. Was it Colonial? No, it's in here already. What was it, Victorian? Yeah, Victorian. So I'm just gonna cut this off. Ugh. If I sit all the way back on my chair, it doesn't creak. But when I sit up on the edge, which I often do, then it creaks. So if you ever hear my chair creaking, know that it's because I'm not sitting properly, and my back will probably hurt later, and I'll be sorry. So more than you ever wanted to know about me. I guess I have no choice but to have it be the same. I do like the circles for helping me kind of line up my pictures. Oh, I should have put my border on first. And I think I will do some white paper for journaling. I'll write about how they have a lot of different, the stores are not the same as Disney Springs in Florida. They have a lot of different choices, and this Marceline's Confectionery is based on a candy store in Marceline, Missouri, which Walt kind of considered his hometown, even though he and his family apparently moved around a lot. So here's a piece of white. I'll probably cut it at 6.5. Oh, make sure I take out the Victorian blade. And this is just, you know, that cover paper again. I should have used it for this, actually. 6.5 is maybe longer than it needed to be. I don't really have any embellishments. Yeah, I could cut 1/4 inch off of this. I don't really have any embellishments that go with this. I don't know what I'm going to use. And I need to cut 1/2 inch or so off this way. And I'll just eyeball it. More than 1/2 inch, but that'll fit right in here. And I'll journal with some black pen. I don't think I'll fill up this whole space. So let me journal, figure out what I'm going to say, and then come back and we'll figure out how we're going to embellish. Okay, journaling done. We had a fun time just wandering around downtown Disney. It's a lot smaller than Disney Springs, and except for World of Disney, doesn't really have any of the same stores, which was nice for us. Although as I was writing that, I remembered it does also have the Lego store. The candy store where we stopped to watch to make fancy caramel apples is named Marceline's Confectionery in honor of Walt's hometown of Marceline, Missouri, which is also what he based Main Street USA on. So now, do I need something else? You know me, my brain is saying yes, but there's already a lot going on with the borders and the memorabilia. I mean, I feel like this almost acts like an embellishment, and the circles, and I don't have any idea what to put here. Like, what embellishment? I'm not going to use flowers. I'm not going to use caramel apples or lightsabers or little Mickey Tsum Tsums. So I think that I might just let this be done, and if down the line I think of something that I need to add to it, I'll go ahead and add that. But I think we're going to call this one finished. So I've turned off my overhead light, so hopefully you can see all of it. I do still feel like it needs something, but I don't know what that is. So if you have any suggestions for what kind of embellishments maybe I could use, something down here, something right here, something right here, just something small, I'd love to hear it. If not, I think I'm going to leave it. Or if you think it's okay with just these borders. I know that, you know, a lot of people are much simpler scrapbookers than I am. I was thinking about Donna Guest, my friend, who is the lazy scrapbooker, and I thought, you know, it's a shame that I didn't think to name my channel the messy scrapbooker or the crazy scrapbooker or something. But yeah, I have one more layout from Downtown Disney of us in our Main Street Electrical Parade Spirit jerseys that Michelle and I bought, our first Disney purchases of the trip. We did not buy the lightsaber or the caramel apples at this time. We bought one later, which is how I got that bag. But so we've got one more Downtown Disney layout, and then we finally will get to Disneyland in a couple of weeks. So episode 8, this is a twofer. And yeah, episode 8 is a little bit longer, I think, than normal, but you got 2 layouts out of it. So hopefully the one that I kind of cheated on with the Fast to Fab pages, nobody's too mad at me for you know, trying to pass that off as a YouTubeable video. So I'll be back next week with another edition of Theme Park Thursday, and until then, happy scrapbooking.